Okay, so get this. Today's deep dive is taking us back to the early 2000s.
Oh, the early 2000s.
Yeah. Low-rise jeans, frosted tips,
Right.
all of that. But we're not here for like a fashion show critique or anything. We're diving into, well, your request actually, Britney Spears in 2007. You specifically mentioned wanting to like really understand that whole chaotic year.
Oh, yeah.
And we stumbled upon this article, and it connects Britney's struggles with, get this, Sean Diddy Combs.
Oh, wow. It is fascinating, isn't it? I mean, most people, when they think about 2007, they think about Britney's very public struggles.
Mm-hmm.
The head shaving, the rehab, that VMA performance.
Yeah.
Nobody could forget that.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah, for a long time, the narrative was, very much focused on her and any personal turmoil she might have been going through at the time.
Exactly. But this article, it's really interesting. It offers a totally different perspective. It hints at all of these external factors that could have played a role in, and it all kind of centers around Diddy.
Right.
And, back then, Diddy was huge in the early 2000s music scene.
To say that Diddy was influential back then is a bit of an understatement, honestly.
Yeah.
This wasn't just about hit records. I mean, his parties were legendary.
Yeah.
Almost like industry events.
Oh, yeah.
Like up-and-coming artists would do just about anything to be seen at one of these parties, hoping to catch his eye, get that, golden endorsement.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, his influence, especially for someone like Britney Spears, was a lot.
Huge, yeah. And that's, I think, what makes this article so interesting. It's directly linking Britney and Diddy during this, like, massively pivotal year for her. And it does it by revisiting some, let's just say, controversial events.
Right.
And, let's be real. When we say controversial, we mean these serious accusations that have come out recently against Diddy.
Yeah, it's impossible to ignore the weight of these allegations.
Yeah.
I mean, organized crime, sex trafficking, abuse, these are very, very serious charges. And because of them, people have had to kind of re-examine Diddy's past, including those infamous parties that we were just talking about.
Right.
Parties that, Britney, along with a lot of other celebrities, attended.
Exactly. And that's where this one specific incident comes in. So the article, it really focuses on this birthday party, Cassandra Ventura's birthday party in 2007. Ventura was dating Diddy at the time. And according to reports, Britney was there and actually had to be escorted out.
Oh, wow.
And here's where it gets really, really interesting. Well, more like frustrating, actually. The media at the time, they instantly jumped to the conclusion that Britney's behavior was because of alcohol.
Yeah, and to really grasp this, you have to understand the media landscape back then in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it was a time when young female celebrities, especially someone like Britney Spears, who was constantly in the public eye.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were often painted as the problem. Victim blaming was incredibly common.
Oh, totally. And this was years before the #MeToo movement.
Yep.
There wasn't that same awareness, that same pushback against these harmful narratives. And it's heartbreaking because the article points out that Britney, she claimed that someone had spiked her drink that night.
Wow. A claim that, considering everything that's come out about Diddy now, takes on a whole new meaning, don't you think?
Absolutely. It makes you question everything. Like, what if she was telling the truth?
And more importantly, what impact did that dismissal, that lack of belief from everybody have on Britney's mental state? Especially during what was already a very difficult year for her.
And it wasn't just about parties for Britney that year.
Right.
I mean, 2007, that was the year of the infamous VMA performance.
Well, right.
The one that, for so many people, that was it, that defined her struggles.
It's interesting, though, because even now, all these years later, that performance is still so open to interpretation.
Yeah.
For years, it was like the definition of a very public breakdown.
Right.
But then Britney, in her memoir, she actually talks about that night. And it adds this whole other layer of complexity to how people understand that moment.
Totally. You're so right. I actually have the excerpt right here. She writes, and I quote, "I hadn't rehearsed enough. I hated my appearance. I knew it was going to be a disaster." Like, you can just feel it in her words.
Yeah.
The pressure she was under.
Oh, absolutely.
She even talks about having a panic attack right before she went on stage.
Which makes you wonder, was this really just about what was going on with her internally? Or did these external things, these outside factors, maybe even like what happened at Diddy's party, did that make it worse? Make her more anxious?
Yeah.
Because, feeling like nobody believes you, like you've been dismissed by everybody, the media, the public, everyone, that can really mess with someone's mental state.
Yeah.
Especially when they're already going through something difficult.
It's like that saying, the straw that broke the camel's back.
Exactly.
Right. What if that VMA performance, as shocking as it was to everyone, what if it was actually just like I don't know, like the end of a really, really long and difficult road for her? All of these things, some public, some totally private, just piling up, pushing her, you know?
And it makes you think, what if people had believed her back then?
Yeah.
About what she said happened at that party? What if the media had been different, more empathetic, you know? Could things have gone differently for her?
Yeah, like, could that have actually changed her whole life, her career, you know? Or were there these bigger things at play? Issues that went way beyond that one incident, things that, I don't know, maybe made the media treat her the way they did.
It's hard to say, isn't it? It really makes you think.
Yeah.
And that's part of what makes this article so fascinating. It doesn't give you the answers. It just peels back the layers of this really complicated situation.
Right.
It makes you confront some uncomfortable stuff about fame, power, and just how the media treated, especially young women, you know, in the early 2000s.
Totally.
It wasn't right.
Yeah. It's a good reminder, though, that there are always multiple sides to a story. And a lot of times, the version that everyone hears, the loudest, the one that gets repeated over and over, especially when it comes to celebrities, that's not always the whole story.
No, it's rarely the full story.
It's not. It makes you wonder how many other stories, how many narratives we might have gotten wrong, how many other stories we should maybe revisit, look at again with fresh eyes, you know?
Absolutely.
It makes you think, like, even though things are different now, the media has changed, you know?
It's true, but some things, they never really change, do they?
Sadly, no.
And it's not just Hollywood either. This kind of thing, it happens everywhere, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Someone's truth silenced because they don't have the power, you know? Yeah. They're not believed, and it can change their whole life.
Wow. Yeah. It really makes you stop and think.
Yeah.
You know, diving into all of this, Britney Spears, Sean Diddy Combs, it's so much bigger than just celebrity gossip. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
It's about questioning what we think we know, you know? About not making assumptions, and about how, even years later, sometimes the truth comes out.
It's true. It really highlights how important it is to, like, really listen, you know? Think critically about what we're hearing and who's saying it.
Yeah.
We have to consider different points of view and, like, recognize that power dynamics can really warp how things go down.
For sure, for sure.
And maybe, just maybe, if we can do that, we can get to a place where fewer people are silenced.
Yeah, that'd be something.
Right. More truths can see the light of day.
Couldn't have said it better myself, really. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive today. It's been a trip back to 2007, that's for sure.
A lot to unpack.
A lot to unpack. But hey, hopefully it's given everyone out there something to think about.
Always.
Until next time.